Engineer Philip Gichuki, Managing Director, Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company. Welcome to the JSO interview.
Thank you, John.
Our focus is on essential services, and of course, water is life. But we are somewhat stressed as residents of Nairobi because you're going to cut off our water for 2 days this week. Why?
It's for good reason. One, we want to maintain high standard in the treatment plant where we treat the water before we distribute it to the resident in the Nairobi city. So what we are doing, we have an intake works where during the last floods, the screens were displaced a bit by the floods, and we are going to reinstate them back to where they are supposed to be. And then also we are working on the treatment plant itself, with that rehabilitation work that you're going to do, we want to assure the residents that you're going to increase the amount of water that is getting into the city.
How do you manage to convince people that essential services will be retained for hospitals? How does the water pipe go to a hospital but not to my house? We have ways of directing water to specific areas. And one thing I want to assure the resident of Nairobi is that 15% of the water supply to the city will still be going on because it's from different source, that is Sasuma Dam and the Kabete. And this specifically will be directed toward Kenyatta National Hospital and the areas allowed, and also Bagathi Hospital, and the areas allowed that area. And also we'll be having water boozers. They will be there to distribute water to schools and also other essential facilities that need water because of probably there is concentrated population in that area. Right. Our conversation, for it to play nationwide, I want you to generalize what's happening in Nairobi and spread it out to what's happening in the country. And one thing's for certain, we're not going to be able to cover a topic as important and as detailed as water in about 15 minutes. So let me just give you a few images for you to sort of respond to. And this idea is that my tap has run dry, but at the same time, I see water trickling across the main road, going somewhere because there's been a leak. You're saying that you're going to sort out the problem of treatment. What about the problem of supply?
One of the issues which is very important, John, is that most of the infrastructure in the country were done some times back. And there is need to continually rehabilitate this infrastructure. And it's one thing that we are doing as Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company to ensure that the old infrastructures are renewed or they are rehabilitated so that we minimize the water losses through leaks. And also, we are building in terms of the capacity so that we can be able to detect even the leaks which are below the surface using the technology that is current in the world.
What kind of technology is that? I mean, how do I find out some pipe somewhere that was dug 30 years ago is leaking?
What you do, there are sounding mechanism that will be able to detect the sound of a leaking pipe below the ground. And it's there and it's accurate. And as a company, we have the tools to do that, and we want to really do more than we are doing now, so that we can be able to reduce the amount of physical losses that we get through leakages.
So you're trying to suggest that you said as a company, you have a certain monopoly, and monopolies are open to abuse. How do you have checks and balances when you're the only people responsible for what you're doing?
One of the things that is important also for people to know is that the water sector is a regulated sector. We have a national body called Water Service Regulatory Board who checks what the players are doing. And we make reports to them, and they also come on the ground to do auditing. And based on their report, we are able to know whether we are following what we have agreed with the stakeholders, to provide the service. At the same time, also they check on terms of the cost that is being incurred by the company in terms of providing the service to ensure that there are no inefficiencies that are being eroded to the consumer.
To hear you speak, engineer, one would assume that everything is going really, really well, that the whole management of the water sector is very, very sound. But I don't think that the Mwananchi sitting at home says that they are happy about their water supply. I have relations in a part of Nairobi, South Sea to be precise, where they never get water for weeks on end. And you're saying that if you treat some plant this weekend, everything will be fine. I'm a bit cynical.
You should not be cynical. I want to assure you that we, as a company, we have done a lot of modification of our system so that we're able to serve some of the areas that have been having difficulties in getting water. And South Sea is one of them. We have done some modification of the pipe. I believe the people of South Sea, they have been seeing our lorries somewhere near Bellevue. And this is to address the challenges that we are having in the network so that we are able now to serve them in the long hours than we are doing in the past. In addition, the water that we are going to get after this rehabilitation of the treatment plant, most of it we will direct it toward Mombasa Road, and the beneficiaries will be among them the South Sea and other estates that are along Mombasa Road.
Another vision that comes to my day-to-day living, this whole idea, perhaps untrue, that certain people are able to create pipes, mechanisms of their own to siphon water. So I could be having no water, but my next door neighbor seems to be having a sort of water industry in his own little plot. The policing of water usage, is this something that you are?
We are doing a lot on that. We have increased in terms of the surveillance on the ground of what is happening with our network. We have now had scouts that go along
But the scouts can't enter people have property. People have property. You just can't come into my property and say, are you abusing the water system? It's done in the middle of the night. The types are fixed. So you have a sort of cartel of people managing their own water supply to their own benefit.
Yeah.
So the bigger question is that you are incapable of managing abuse.
I want to give the scenarios that we have of addressing that issue. One of them is asking the resident to partner with us, give us the information. Because one of the things that residents need to know, that person who is getting water illegally is making the service to be costly for you who is paying. And one way of doing addressing that cost is ensuring that everybody pay for water.
But sorry, in this instance, I'm talking about day-to-day, the engineers who come to fix the illegal machinery in the next door neighbors are being paid a hefty sum to do so. It's a job description. So it's a bit like people, I don't know, creating tires in Eastleigh. We know that this happens. But you don't seem to know.
No. This is an information that we have been communicating with the residents. And this is a good opportunity also for me to come and talk to Nairobians about this issue of the illegal water connection. One of the things that I have talked about, detecting the pipes on the ground where there is leakage. We also have equipment that will detect illegal water connection. And this we are doing it. We have been able to get culprits and arraign them in court, and they have been fined, and they have even paid for frauds whenever they are caught. And we are doing this more and more, and we want to widen the net so that we're able to get more people, and also at the same time to be effective. I would urge the resident also to be part of this. Report it, and you see action being taken.
Another image that we as Nairobians see is the whole idea of the clean water bowser. Clean water, times are hard, we'll bring this huge lorry and give you some water. A good thing, a thing that's part of our culture, here to stay?
What happens around 2009, we had a challenge of the water shortage, which was occasioned by the drought. And this is when these water bowsers came in to fill a gap. And to remove them, we need to work more and ensure that we provide water in the areas where we have shortages. And this is why we are working very hard to ensure that there is no business for the water boozers. And one of the things that I find a big challenge is that the water boozers, you may not guarantee the quality of water, but when you get water from our system, we can guarantee you the quality of the water.